all rise for the Honorable Judge Sue, because Mr. Attorney, Sue Ann is an attorney, Sue. I'm going to call her a Judge Sue. Judge Sue was trying to hold a court up in here. She was cross-examining the witness, which was Jeffri, and she was defending the defendant, Blake. So the question is going to be, who is the real liar? And even though a Judge Sue came to the conclusion that the liar is Jeffri, I'm like, I'm not so sure, Judge Sue. Hold on. I don't think it's that simple. I'll say this about Jeffri, and I've been saying it since episode 1. Jeffri is a professional. Jeffri is on this show running circles around people because Jeffri is a professional at what she's doing. I said that there is something about Jeffri whose story just doesn't add up. Her story is vague, and she knows how to evade detection. And she uses this squeaky, mousy voice as a way to throw you off so you don't come looking any deeper. But you know what? I'm going to tell you what I think happened between Jeffri and Blake. Because I don't think it's as simple as Judge Sue believes it is, and that Jeffri's the liar and Blake is the only one being honest over here. First of all, we know that Blake is a corporate security officer, manager, or whatever. He in corporate security. He's used to questioning people. He's used to detecting thieves and liars. And this is what I believe. I believe initially that Blake thought, well, you know what? Me and Miss Jeffri should have something in common because we both are out here with 3 kids by various baby mamas. And I don't know. I think Jeffri got more than one baby daddy. I don't know how many. I don't know if she has 1 or 2 or 3, but I believe she's got more than one because I'm going to tell you, she's a professional and she has captured somebody in that net of hers more than once because she's good at what she does. Anyway, I think that initially, I do believe that Blake said, you know what? Jeffri's going to be one of the ladies that I approach. She's good looking. She seems sweet. She's demonstrating all the things that would make a Blake kind of maybe walk in her direction initially. But what I think happened once Blake got over there, corporate security, I do believe he started asking her some questions. I do believe, just like Jeffri said, he started asking her some pointed questions because I believe the antennas on Blake went up. He says, I've been here before. I've seen this before. And he probably did start questioning, where are you going? When are you coming back? Because you know what he probably discovered? Her stories weren't lining up. And instead of staying in dating mode with her, he switched to corporate security mode. And he started doing an investigation on her. He absolutely started doing an investigation on Jeffri. And Jeffri knew it. And Jeffri didn't like it. No woman would. But Jeffri particularly didn't like it because you know what? Jeffri's got something to hide. And Jeffri knows she's not telling the truth. And the closer that Blake started getting to the truth about Jeffri, she says, I'm going to get him before he gets me. Because when Jeffri came out last week and put Blake on blast so fast, we were like, wait a minute, wow, that's out of left field. Why all of a sudden did she come so hard, so fast for Blake's neck? And you know why she did? Because she says, I got to get him before he gets me. You see, Blake was uncovering some information about Jeffri. He was gathering some evidence. And what Jeffri didn't want him to do was go back to the group of men and out her, tell her everything. So she decided, I'm going to cut off his neck before he can cut off mine. Now, remember, Blake was already at the bottom anyway. He was on shaky ground. So she said, you know what? I can take him out easily before he has even a chance to come after me. So Jeffri decided, you know what? I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to embellish the story. Some of it's probably true, but she also probably put some hot sauce on it and said he's possessive, he's controlling, he's asking me a bunch of questions, where I'm coming, where I'm going. That's what I said. I don't really believe Jeffri in of herself was telling a lie about everything that she said about Blake. But her motivations for telling the ladies and the way she told the ladies, I think was serving another purpose, and that was to get rid of Blake, because Blake was starting to understand and figure some things out about Jeffri, and she didn't want him going back and telling the other fellas. And in fact, when she ended up being on the bottom this week, the first thing she said was, Blake is spoiling the man on me. That's the first person she blamed. He's telling stuff about me. Now, that tells you she already was scared that it was going to happen. And so when she was on the bottom, she immediately blamed Blake. But let me tell you, she was scared even before this moment, because I'm telling you, corporate security officer Blake was hot and heavy on her tail. And he was going to figure out all the lies that she's telling. I'm telling you, Jeffri's telling some lies out here. We just don't know what they are. And I'm telling you, she's a professional at it, and she's done it before. Because the way she defended herself against Judge Suan was masterful. When Judge Suan decided to corner Jeffri on the boat and say, hey, you know, I talked to Blake and he said some of the things that you said are not true. Let me tell you, Jeffri was like, you're not gonna get to cross-examine me. You don't get to chastise me. You don't get to question me. Who are you? I could care less. Jeffri went in full-on defense mode quickly. It didn't take much for Suan to even get her to that point, to the point where Jeffri was like, I'm about to shut Suan down completely. A Judge Susu did not know what she was up against when she had the hostile witness on the stand in the name of Jeffri. She thought she was going to have this cooperative witness. She was going to cross-examine her about her statement earlier, try to point out the lies in her statement, and she was met with a hostile witness. Let me tell you, Jeffri knew how to wiggle out of that moment because she has been here before. Jeffri has used these tactics before. She has been confronted before by another person, and she knows how to wiggle out of it, flip it around, and get out of it. She's a professional. She's out, everybody out here playing checkers. Let me tell you, Jeffri is playing a chess. The second part where Jeffri showed her skills was when Blake said, I want to talk to you. So now we think, okay, it's going to go down now. So Blake and Jeffri go off in a corner and they start talking. So Blake says, well, I want to tell you that I heard some things that you said that weren't true. And Jeffri says right away, show me your evidence. One thing about a liar, they know how not to give up any information. They want you to divulge first what you have on them. So she said first she didn't say, no, nothing I said wasn't a lie. She said, tell me which part you think I'm lying about. This does two things. First of all, it puts the work on to Blake, right? So she doesn't have to defend herself because she puts the work on Blake. Now, Blake being the corporate security officer, and the fact that some of the things that she said wasn't true, he's in a pickle. First of all, he doesn't want to say the exact thing she said or even that Susu said, because some of the things were actually true. And he knew if he said them, Jeffri had enough ammunition to say, oh, no, you did say that. You did do that. And so Blake didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to talk about it. He wanted to find a way to accuse Jeffri without actually saying what she said and did. And that was the fatal mistake with Blake. Because what Jeffri was able to get up there and do and said, I don't have to defend myself until you make the accusation and tell me exactly what I said wasn't true. Show me your evidence. Like I tell you, Jeffri is the hostile witness on the stand, and she's saying, I'm innocent until proven guilty. And unless you can prove that I'm guilty, I'm innocent. Well, we all know that we ain't got all the evidence on Jeffri, but we all know our gut. Well, maybe we don't all know. I'm going to tell you, I know. My gut, my intuition is telling me that Jeffri is hiding a whole lot. I'm not going to say that she's a liar, okay, where she just tells lies like Sue-Ann wanted to say. I don't think that. I think Jeffri is more skilled at that. She's not a person, I don't think, that's just going to tell an outright lie. She's a person who dances with the truth. Errors of omission, doesn't tell the whole story, leaves out pertinent information that makes you believe something different. And she said, well, I never said that. Well, you also didn't give me a pertinent information that would have changed my perception. I don't think she's an outright liar. I think she hides information so you can come to a different conclusion. And then when you call her on it, she'll say, I never said that. One of the reasons why I know that, another reason I know this is because when they had that scene when Mark Anthony kissed Jeffri and Demario saw it, he says, that's a turnoff. It shows lack of self-control. This is what Demario was talking about. Demario was talking about that in his conversations with Jeffri, her words, she presents herself as one type of person. She's virtuous. She's this mom. She's this loving, nurturing mom. She really presents herself as this docile, sweet woman with all these tender, feminine qualities, right? She appeals to the fantasy of men. But then what he says is that doesn't line up, because a woman who is that virtuous and a woman that cares about her reputation that much, or who has a good reputation and is all about preserving that reputation, wouldn't allow a man, it don't matter how fine he is with Mark Anthony, to mark his territory like that on the ship. Jeffri allowed Mark Anthony to mark territory on her very early in the game, kissing her like that in public. That, in a way, not only can spoil Jeffri for all the other men, and that is what I believe Demario was saying. It's a lack of self-control. It is a lack of you being able in that moment to make a better decision on, should I give in to this kiss publicly in front of all these people so early in the game, or should I exhibit a little bit more self-control and pull back on the reins and save some for later? But Jeffri went for it. But you know why Jeffri went for it? Because Jeffri also wanted to send a message to all the other ladies. She wanted to send a message that, hey, I know you guys think I'm an underdog because I'm the woman over here with 3 kids by multiple men, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. We don't know yet. But I'm here to show you that I can catch darn near the finest man on this yacht. She wanted to let these women know that you think I'm an underdog because I got 3 kids and you don't have none. I'm going to let you know that I'm willing and ready to fight, and you better bring your A game because it ain't going to be that easy. That's the message Jeffri was sending. I'm telling you, Jeffri is playing a checkers and everybody else is playing chess. And Mercedes over there looked dumbfounded. Mercedes was over there saying, how the heck did Mark Anthony go over and kiss Jeffri and then come over here and kiss me? She was flabbergasted. She tried to hold her composure. He gave her a little something later on when he came over and rubbed her feet. But damage was done. Damage was done with the ego and the confidence of Mercedes in that moment. I know it was. I don't know what game Mark Anthony is playing with Jeffri. I do think it's a game. Because when they had their little date and they went bull riding, once again, Jeffri trying to pretend like she could do something she really can't do. This girl is all about image and presenting an image. But then she says, well, I'm looking for a provider, a protector. And what is the other canned response they say? A leader. If I hear this one more time from a woman saying I'm looking for a provider, a protector, and a leader, I might vomit. Women, this phrase needs to go out of style, just like a bunch of other ones need to go out of style, like alpha male, alpha female, beta male, beta. Get rid of it, because it tells me nothing about what you're really looking for. A leader to do what? Lead you where? A provider in which way? What? Pay all your bills? What are you talking about? It's like a phrase a certain women have latched onto, and now it becomes their interview question. And it sounds like one that they got from Kevin Samuels or something, because they're trying to figure out how to get a high value man. That's Jeffri. Jeffri is out here trying to get a high value man. Where are those baby daddies? Because I want to know how much they're paying in child support. I know they're paying. Because Jeffri knows how to play the game. Mark Anthony over here talking about, yeah, he's open to a blended family because he grew up in one. That's not a good answer. Some people grew up with alcoholics and drug addicts. That don't mean they still want it going forward in their life for their next real life. That answer that Mark Anthony gave me is starting to tell me a little bit about him too. That he does some things and says some things to play the game and for other reasons. I don't really think Mark Anthony is seriously interested in Jeffri. Maybe to sleep with her, maybe to use her on this show to make him stay on the show or for other women. I don't know what his game is yet. I'll figure him out later. But I do know Jeffri is playing a game. She is playing it. And let me tell you right now, she's playing it well. So Judge Susu, I think you jumped the gun too fast. I think you convicted Jeffri on circumstantial evidence. I believe you took the side of Blake because you know what? He brought you into the corporate office and gave you an employee appreciation award, which was that bracelet. Because he's like, I need to keep this attorney on my side. We all need a good attorney. We all need a good attorney on our side because all of us may one day get in trouble and we need somebody to call to get us out of trouble. And Blake was like, a Susu is my unpaid attorney that's going to get me out of trouble. And he's like, let me give her an employee appreciation award with this bracelet. So now Sue-Ann got a pet name, a Susu, and an employee appreciation award. Girl, you being used. Blake is not interested in you, Sue-Ann. Blake is not interested in you in one bit. Probably go back and take a look at the type of women Blake dated in the past. And I bet none of them were anything like you, Sue-Ann. None of them. I guarantee you that Blake does not have a history of dating women like Sue-Ann. Sue-Ann, look at this dating history and you will find out you are not the type he likes to date. He is using you as a free defense attorney and judge to help convict Jeffri. Don't get wrapped up into this game with Blake. Don't be defending crooks and criminals who keep saying, I'm innocent, I didn't do it. He did it. He did it. He may not didn't do it the exact way that Jeffri described or the reasons for which he did do it, but he did it. He didn't necessarily do it because he's all into Jeffri and wanted Jeffri for himself. No, he did it because he was on the tail of Jeffri because he sniffed out a liar. Because what's the old saying? A liar's no liars, crooks no crooks. Blake sniffed out Jeffri very early on, and Jeffri had to throw him off the scent and get rid of him before he tried to get rid of her. Jeffri is saving her ass out here. There were a whole lot of things that happened in this episode. That date with Marcia and Blue was a disaster. You know what? I liked Marcia or Marcia, whichever one she goes by before, but this date was horrible. I wouldn't even go out with Marcia another date. And I don't even like women. I don't even date women. I'm married. I would not even go out with her again. If I sit next across somebody and they tell me I don't like to do anything outdoors, girl, bye. What are we going to do? Go to brunch all the time? Go to dinner? Go to eat? I eat sushi and oysters all the time. What do you like to do for fun? And you mean to tell me none of the things you like to do for fun involve going outdoors? I tell you, I said this before in another video of mine. Women need to get some hobbies that men like to do too. You just can't have hobbies that only women like to do. Then just hang out with women or date women. I don't know what to tell you. But for a woman to sit across from a man and say, I don't like to do anything outdoors. I don't like to hike. I don't like to fish. I don't like to go outside. I don't like to go to cabins. I don't like to do anything outdoors. Then you don't want to date men. You need to start dating a women. And go to brunch and go shopping or date a gay man. I don't know what to tell you. What a horrible strategy for Marcia. Now I know why she out here single. Because if this is what she's been going around saying, she don't like to do anything outdoors. She doesn't want to date men with children, which is fine. But she's got too many things she doesn't like to do. And it doesn't leave any room for someone to bond with her and to find things in common. All they gonna want to do is to look at her chest because she does come with the girls out all the time, and that's probably what gets her a lot of dates. But after that, what they gonna do with you? What else can you do indoors? Have sex. That'd be about all they gonna want to do with her is have sex because, like she said, she don't want to do it outdoors either. So maybe the sex may even get boring after a while because we can't even do it outdoors. Girl, go get some hobbies. Go get some hobbies, broaden your horizon, find some other things that you like to do because right now, like I said, I wouldn't even give her a second date. I really wouldn't. I'm with Blue. Friend zone, friend zone. No, actually, that's not even a friend zone. I wouldn't even hang out with her. Somebody tells me they don't like doing anything outdoors. No, that's okay, girl. Well, I'll call you when I want to go shopping or get my nails done. Other than that, we probably wouldn't hang out. We couldn't hang out. I'm too much of an outdoors person. And Andre went home. My goodness, new edition, boys to men. He went home. What he went home for? You know what? This COVID excuse is becoming overused because pretty much probably everybody is tested positive for COVID. And we all know that unless you're sick with COVID, if you test positive for COVID, you can typically test negative within 4 to 5 days. You really can. So this idea that he said he tested positive for COVID, he didn't say, oh, he's sick with COVID, tells me somebody found out that Andre was on this show, some woman, and said, you better get off that doggone show. Once again, we got another man cutting and running real quick because he figured something out. He either figured out he didn't like any women on the show, or some woman in the background figured out he was on the show and that woman threatened him and said, you better get off that show. Otherwise, there's going to be some problems, more problems than you can handle. Who believes this COVID excuse that Andre gave? I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. I'm going to miss Andre. Who else am I going to make fun of with this little thing coming down? He was good, some good comedy in the first couple of episodes. I guess I'm going to have to move on. But I'm going to miss you, Andre. I'm going to miss you. Another couple over here trying to play games is this Morgan and this Tony connection. Tony over here gaslighting Morgan, talking about, I wish you had more confidence and believed in me. Boy, you are not Jesus. Walk by faith and not by sight. No, Morgan, you keep walking by sight because your eyes are real. What your eyes are showing you a real, girl. A walk by sight. He ain't Jesus. Walk by faith, not by sight. That's what these players, people like Tony, want you to do. They want you to walk by faith, not by sight. And then when you start calling them on what you see, then they want to flip it around and tell you it's all about your self-esteem. You got low self-esteem. No. I am paying attention to what I see. Because a lot of player men, they don't want you to walk by sight. They want you to walk by what you hear from them. They want to be able to whisper sweet things in your ears. And you just keep believing whatever they say, no matter what you see. And Morgan, it was like, my eyes and my ears are not lining up. And then here comes Tony over here talking about, you need to have more self-confidence. Girl, she knows what she sees, Tony. Morgan, believe your eyes, not your ears. Believe your eyes and not your ears. Because yes, girl, he is absolutely going around and telling the same things to various women. Same thing. Ain't nothing special for you right now, Morgan. Nothing is special for you right now. It's being offered to everyone. So keep watching with your ears. So keep watching with your eyes and not believing everything you hear that Tony is feeding you. Girl, keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. That's why the saying is keep an eye on him, not keep an ear on them. Because you're supposed to pay attention to your eyes. When they say keep an eye, they don't say keep an ear. They say keep an eye on him. But once Demario figured out that Jeffri was full of shit, because Demario figured it out too. Demario figured out that Jeffri's over here playing games. She's saying a lot of things, but she's moving completely different. He said, I'm done with her. And he decides he's going to move on to Corvaya, the person who says she's not a gold digger. But every time Corvaya opens up her mouth, she makes a reference to money. I don't know if y'all picked it up this week. This week when they were on the boat, Corvaya says to Demario, oh, hey, can't you see your place from there? See, once again, here's Corvaya alluding to the fact that it looks like Demario must have a place, an apartment, a condo, something on the water. And so what she's alluding to is, can't you see your high-rise apartment or condo or whatever off the water? Corvaya is the type of person that when a man walks by, she's adding up his complete outfit to figure out whether or not he makes a lot of money. She's adding up how much the watch costs, the shoes, or the outfit he has on. She's adding all up to figure out, ding, 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 ding. It's like a cash register. Ding, 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 ding. Now I know how much you're worth. Now I decide whether or not I want to give you the time of day. That's what she was doing with Demario. She was trying to figure out from Demario, oh, I can see your little condo from the water. She was basically giving him a credit approval. Kavaya is not slick, but let me tell you, Demario went to bat for her. He was going to bat for her at the elimination round like she was his baby mama. I hope she's worth it, Demario. I really do hope Kavaya is worth it. I really do hope she's worth it. You know, another little touching moment in this episode when Jonique was talking to Tony and she started crying about, you know, some of her dating woes. And she's only 30, but I guess she feels like she hasn't found her person out here. And she's just wondering, will she ever find that person? I think she says, you know, she has a lot of career success. She seems to be an entrepreneur and had a lot of success really early on in her life. And she's just saying she hasn't made that connection with a man and she really wants that. She wants a family. And, you know, I could feel the genuineness of her coming through. She started crying and everything. And Tony was like, as soon as she finished, stopped crying, Tony was like, oh, let me go up here and get a drink. Tony was not interested in hearing that story from Jonique. Not at all. He was not interested in hearing it one bit. He ain't even interested in her. But you know what, Jonique? I guess you were able to get it out. I'm going to say this to Jonique. Jonique might need to change her dating style because Jonique is a pretty woman. She's got a lot of things going for her. And there are men out here who would be interested in Jonique. Some women need to start dating men that are interested in them as opposed to trying to chase after men that aren't interested in them. Jonique shouldn't even be sitting down with Tony. There is no way a Tony would be interested in Jonique for a variety of reasons. I already know that. Don't stop wasting your time with men who are really not interested in you. Find interest, ladies, in men who find interest in you. The minute women start doing that, they're going to have a lot more success in dating. But too many women out here are trying to be the hunters. They're trying to convince men to like them, men that aren't really attracted to them, men that don't really want to be with them. And they're overlooking the men who are attracted to them, want to be with them, and who would treat them like queens. Instead, they're going over here sitting across from the Tonys of the world. Tony is not interested in Jonique. Not at all, not one bit. So at the end of this episode, we don't even know who got sent home. They didn't tell us. The three on the bottom were Jeffri, Kavaya, and Marcia or Marsha. I can't remember which way you pronounce it. We don't know who's getting the boot. We know that Demario fought long and hard for Kavaya, so I think she's going to abstain. There were a lot of people who didn't like Jeffri, who's already sniffed her out, but there were a lot who are still being bit by the Jeffri bug, who also stood up for her. The only person I think that might go home is Marcia or Marsha. That might be who goes home next week, unless they use that save. I don't know. But the episode was interesting. But what did y'all think about some of the things I said? Who do you think the liar was between Jeffri and Blake? Or are you like me when they both are playing the game and there was truth to both of their stories? But that's it, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.